Hi, Arrow. How are you?
Fantastic. How about you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Well, congratulations on another season of Trafficked. And I got to tell you, what really has drawn me closer and closer to this new season, I have a friend that's in Ukraine, and you went there. My God, that you were covering an area that I've always wondered what happened to the trafficking that took place in a nation once so strong.
It's true. You know, we went there a few months ago, and it wasn't easy to even get into the country. And we were covering the surrogacy industry. I think it was a bit of a shock to me to find out that Ukraine was actually a center of surrogacy around the world. So American couples that are trying to get pregnant and can't are actually using American and employing Ukrainian women to become their surrogate mothers for their babies. And when the war broke out in Ukraine, a lot of these mothers and these babies were sort of caught in the middle. Yep. So you had all these American couples and families desperately trying to save and meet their babies for the first time and also save them. And so that became part of our journey and the story we told.
Every step must have been, well, that's going to be the next episode. That's going to be the next episode, because the experiences that you go through, you and your team, I mean, everybody that's involved, I mean, it's amazing to me.
Yeah, we get so many story ideas just from being in the field and talking to people. I think there's an interconnectivity between all these black markets, whether we're talking about cyber piracy or crypto scams or even drugs. These are connected in some way or another. So a lot of times I have sources and people that I talk to and I have spoken to for years and years, and I sort of keep on getting more information about what's happening in these trafficking and criminal underworlds from these sources, and so it's incredibly helpful in one way.
The view that you give those that are watching is spectacular in the way that it's a 360-degree view from the smugglers as well as the law enforcement. We get to see all sides involved here.
Yeah, that's true. There is a lot of shows out there and a lot of reporting done about law enforcement and what is being done around the world and here in the United States to prevent and to sort of combat these black markets. But rarely do you get to sort of open the curtain and see what's happening behind, who are the people who are actually operating in these black markets, how it's being done, what are their motivations. And so that's what we try to do with Trafficked, is to gain this unprecedented access into these worlds that we know exist. We know they're out there. We know they're dangerous and that they, have a deep and daily impact on our lives, and yet we know so little about them, and that's what we try to go after.
Oh, you talk about that danger on Trafficked, which is on National Geographic. One of the things that we hear a lot of here in the Carolinas, and you're going to put focus on it, ghost guns. This has got to be a subject that everybody has got to know about.
It is so true. I've been covering guns and the gun issues here in America for many years now, for decades. And I started hearing people telling me, look, you have to cover ghost guns. These are unlicensed, untraceable guns that anyone that can read can essentially put together these guns. They can purchase them online in 5 minutes. They can order them, and you can assemble them easily. So we went on a wild journey where we spent time with gangs in Los Angeles and groups that are intent on destroying and attacking our democracy, and even teenagers who are buying, purchasing, making, and using these guns. And it was a really scary episode.
The worlds that you step into cannot be taken lightly. Is it based on trust, or is it based on, I've got to have enough courage and confidence to go in and get the story so that we can make this more visible to the naked eye?
I think all of it combined. I think there's also a lot of curiosity. I've been obsessed with black markets all my life. I've devoted my whole career to covering these very deep, dark corners of the world. And I think that once we get there, I think, what I tell people always is I've come here not with judgment. I might not condone what you do. The vast majority of times I don't. But I'm here to listen to your story. I'm here with empathy. And I think that goes a long way, because we can vilify all we want. We can judge people all we want. But until we understand their motivations, we will never be able to prevent these black markets, whether they're drugs, guns, scams, you name it. They will continue to exist.
One of the things that we were always trained in the early days of radio was that you don't talk about politics on the radio, but yet you dive into it on this one.
It is, I don't take sides, but I do think that we live in a time where politics, unfortunately, is mixed with everything we do.
Yeah.
And whether we're talking about guns or white supremacy, these are very touchy subjects in America these days, unfortunately. So we can't stop and we can't not mention those things. But at the end of the day, journalism is about finding the truth. It's not about taking sides. It's not being part of the right or the left. It's about the truth. And particularly investigative journalism, where we spend months, sometimes even years, pursuing these subject matters. I think most importantly, that the goal that motivates us all is the discovery of the truth.
Man, I hear your pride when you say journalism, because I'm so proud of the way that journalism is growing. And it's almost like, why isn't there an Edward R. Murrow, kind of a trophy for those of people like yourself that go in and get the story?
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud to call myself a journalist. Even these days where journalists get a bad name sometimes, I'm very proud, and I always encourage. I get approached by young journalists all the time, and I encourage people, go out there, tell the stories that matter to you. Sometimes they're right around the corner. You don't need to go far. You don't need a lot of money. You just need passion. That is how I started,
Mm-hmm.
And you need passion, determination, persistence. And these stories are important, and somebody has to keep telling these stories.
Are you the negotiator? Because it seems like your personality is right there where you just go, let's do it. Let's go have a conversation. Let's go engage in a conversation and see if we can build up a conversation.
A lot of times, yes. A lot of times people are hesitant. They're not sure if they want to, I have my team working on getting access, and they're not sure if they want to talk to me, and they usually want to talk to the person who's going to be asking them questions, and they're always on the fence. And that's, again, where the approach is very important, where they can see that I'm not judging them, that I really am curious about their lives, and that goes a long, long way in gaining this access.
Well, I've always believed, share the story or someone will write it for you, and they're sharing their story.
That is exactly true, and everybody has a story to tell. And again, you might not agree with their story, but it's there, and it's important, and it's having an impact on your life, whether you like it or not.
Oh, Mariana, you got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
I love it. Thank you so much, Arrow.
You be brilliant today, okay?
You too. Thanks for having me.